What's going on, everybody? This is John Jake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with the start of year number 2 here with the Youngstown State Dynasty, kicking things off here in NCAA Football 06, one of the greatest football games ever to be created, man. And I am excited. Brand new season. Different expectations, though. I mean, we are pretty lowly regarded in our conference. We got the 2-year probation, but that being said, we got some very talented players on our football team, and we got to start things off here by showing the new players that have joined the team. Kicking things off at the running back position, we will have Jody Gentry, one of the channel members that proudly support this channel. He's going to be our starting running back here, a 74 overall. Also in the fold in that backfield, we got Dyfker DeHome and Troy's Billing in on the team as well. Troy's Billing, man, he's got some potential, but we'll see if we can get him away from those bad influences that he came from. But I'm excited for all 3 of these players, man, even though it's mostly going to be Jody Gentry's show in the backfield. Also at fullback, he actually is a converted tight end. We have Isaac Jefferson. Isaac Jefferson will be our starting fullback this upcoming season. Might see him as in some tight end sets as well. Very athletic for a guy that's 6'3", 214 pounds. Really love what he could potentially bring to the table. And yeah, man, I'm going to be really excited to see, what he could possibly do for this team. And then, of course, rounding out our custom prospects and new custom guys that are on the football team, we have Sean Taylor. He was named after the late, great Sean Taylor that, of course, played for what was then known as the Washington Redskins. And he's one of the best players on our team, man. At 6'7", 299 pounds, he is an 80 overall. And y'all already know with this FCS roster that we got going on right now, Sean Taylor is literally our second best player, really only behind Chris Ty, who is our starting quarterback. Speaking of that quarterback situation, I mean, we still have Austin Douglas. He's going to be our backup this season, with Mark Johnson getting the red shirt because at best he was going to be a third string guy, and I don't want to risk him getting the game. We have Adam Higgins for that, but Austin Douglas, man, he ends up getting suspended for a game. Now, we do have a significant amount of NCAA interest because of the sanctions that we were issued last season. He's a great disciplined guy, but he broke curfew, man. He broke curfew, so he is going to be suspended for our opener, which does take us to our opener. What's going on? So, as you know, I like to do one episode per game month unless it's something special like a conference tournament game or a bowl game, or hopefully one of these days an NCAA tournament game for either a basketball or baseball program. But here in this month of September, man, we have 5 games. So we're going to either play or simulate all 5 games for you guys. So we're going to find out real quick how good this football team really is. We start off with a team that we played last year with Illinois State, and I am actually going to simulate that, as well as the team that is up at the FBS level, Toledo. Toledo is actually coming to our stadium. They are Bs across the board, so Toledo is going to be a challenge. But the first game I'm actually going to be playing is, we got a really highly regarded matchup this time around. We got San Diego State. They are a preseason number 7 team. They got a D+ offense, but a C+ defense. That defense is it's going to be extremely difficult to deal with. It's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. We might be a little bit overmatched, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, but I'm hoping offensively we can at least keep up. And then to wrap things up, I will also play the Murray State game. We will be playing against Murray State, and that will be our conference opener. Pretty similarly rated. Defense is a little bit better than ours, but hopefully we can address that in recruiting with the limited amount of scholarships that we have, because we only have 15 scholarships. And then to round out this episode, I will also simulate the Eastern Kentucky game. Eastern Kentucky also slightly better than us, but I like what we have at the quarterback situation, as well as, for the most part, our skill position guys. So guys, this is going to be a really great episode. I hope you guys are excited for it to get year number 2 officially underway. If you are, make sure you go ahead, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you have to be brand new. And with that being said, I am actually going to simulate these first couple of games and see how we're doing. Alright guys, so I went ahead and simulated the first couple of games like I mentioned, but you know, not as good of a spot where I wanted to be. I kind of expected this loss to Toledo because playing against FBS teams, you know, usually that's a gimme game for, you know, the FBS team, right? But we were competitive in that, but we lose to Illinois State despite having better ratings than them. We actually started off okay. We were up 13-7 at the half, but what ended up happening is in that third quarter, Illinois State just came out firing on all cylinders, right? They scored 21 unanswered points. We just could not rally back, but John Langford actually had a fantastic game, though, for us. He ends up with 17 catches, 235 yards, and a touchdown. So he was balling. He was doing his thing, man, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately, and, you know, we lose that first game. Second game, though, against Toledo, even though I didn't expect to win this personally, but what we did end up seeing is you know, a pretty competitive game overall. We kept it close up until looks like that fourth quarter. Toledo scored 9 unanswered points, and that was the difference, but nearly pulled off the win. Almost got it done, but wasn't meant to be. But Douglas, he ends up with 3 tackles and interception, and looks like 3 touchdowns as well. So it looks like he was really a difference maker for us. Almost got the upset, but just didn't really happen for us. So it takes us to the middle of September. We are, like I said, I wanted to take on San Diego State, but San Diego State actually took a loss here in week 2 against, we'll see real quick who San Diego State ended up losing to, because they were ranked in the top 10 when we started our simulation. So we, you know, he took care of business against Sacramento State, but then lost big against Washington. So Washington, you know, also another bigger tier FBS team, and they really got punished for it, man. That's something that I would like to change, maybe if something like this were to happen, maybe in EA college football, just those ratings a little bit. So we got so they got us on the docket. Yes, they're coming off a big loss. We're coming off 2 losses in a row. And the biggest reason why I think we've been struggling a little bit is, I was just checking the injury report, right? We're a little bit hurt. We are going through some things as a team, right? So taking a look at our if I can even find where our here we are. Okay, here we go. So we already have 2 of our key starters out with major injuries, right? Nick Riggs partially tears his ACL, so he's going to be out for 10 weeks. The fact that he might come back for the season, that's a minor miracle. But then, huge problem here. Chris Ty ends up fracturing his forearm, so he's going to be out for the next 4 weeks. And if you're paying attention, man, Austin Douglas, number 2 quarterback in his recruiting class, it is his time to shine. And he's been solid in you know, backup duties, man. 12 for 19, 157 yards, 3 touchdowns, has negative yards on the ground. We'll see if we can bring that up to positive yards, but we're gonna be really riding Austin Douglas here, man, if we want to go ahead and finally secure some wins, because remember, we did end up redshirting Mark Johnson. So really, it's just him and Adam Higgins on the roster realistically. So hopefully we can avoid some injuries. But more importantly, I'm hoping we can get some wins here. We desperately need it, man. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump into this game once I see that we are officially done with simulating. And yeah, man, let's see if we can take care of business against San Diego State so that we can get that first win of the season here in year number 2. Alright, boys, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. 0-2 so far in this new season of college football. We desperately need a win, and that's not going to help the cause as David Silva cannot keep up with Jones and gives up a really big play downfield. but also manages to injure his ankle. Y'all see what's been going on leading up to his game. We are already a little bit thinned, and he actually sprains his ankle. So not only is he going to be done in this game, but we might not have him for the conference opener against Murray State, which we also plan on playing. And oh, we needed that interception. We needed that interception in the worst way, and we did not get it, but at least we got the stop as of right now. We'll see if our defense can continue to hang on here, as San Diego State, they are threatening for the very first time today. They are encroaching on our red zone and will manage to get themselves inside the red zone, able to bring down Pruitt eventually. But the third completion of the day for Cody Watkins sets up a 1st and 10 inside the red zone. Chilling on the 17-yard line. Need our defense to make a play. And this might be it right here. Intercepted by Holbert. The walk-on cornerback. We're going to go pick 6, but gets caught from behind. But let's go, baby. Exactly what we needed if we want to pull the upset and get our very first win of this season. And great job, by the way, by Holbert of staying with that play. Just isn't as athletic as your average quarterback, but still sets up our offense pretty well. 3rd and 6. We'll look to see if we can find ourselves into the end zone, as we'll drop back with our true freshman quarterback, Austin Douglas. And Austin Douglas took an absolute shot. So Lee Richardson will come out and take this 36-yard field goal attempt. The true freshman. We're going to get the first points of the game for us, as the kick will be up. It does angle the other way, but Richardson will still get it through. And, you know, not a pretty drive for us. Not a pretty drive for us whatsoever. But what it does end up doing is that we will end up taking a 3-0 lead here after 1 quarter of action. So we jump into the second quarter now, as we have the ball with Austin Douglas. We'll see if we can pick up the first down with him, as he takes a huge sack, just runs out of time. Even with the improvements to our offensive line, Sean Taylor, I think, is the real deal. That being said, though, we need some, we don't have the great offensive line that I want to see, as, you know, we try to get the ball out to Cam Thomas there, but we get intercepted by Franklin. And not even because it was a bad decision. It was actually a pretty sound decision, in my opinion. But Austin Douglas just overthrows him straight up, and that's going to be ironically, his first interception of his collegiate career. So we got to see it live in person. And now San Diego State will take over, looking for the end zone. Outright, it finds Bauer in the end zone. Touchdown, Aztecs. And Jonathan Bauer pays the price. He injures his back. But the Aztecs will still retake the lead. And now up 7-3. As we will see San Diego State downfield looking for his receiver. It's going to be incomplete. But they will opt to go for it here on 4th down. They have not missed a 4th down conversion the entire season. At least not yet in the early portions. As it's going to be a play action for Watkins. Rolls to the left and finds his tight end. Able to pick up a 1st down there. And so the Aztecs will be able to keep the drive alive. We'll get them back into a 3rd down. They haven't gotten any 3rd down conversions yet today. And Watkins looking to change that. He's got a ton of time in the pocket. And was looking for his impact wide receiver. But he cannot come down with it. Receiver definitely disappointed in himself. And the Aztecs will have to settle for a field goal as well. And even with this field goal attempt, it will stay a 1-possession game, except it's no good. The kicker misses it. So our boys get a stand on defense. And unfortunately, we're just having a hard time capitalizing off it. Haven't really been able to generate that much offense whatsoever. So the ball is back in the hands of this Aztec offense. We've been able to get some sparks going, but just haven't been able to get anything going with our offense, as we got an open man downfield, and he's must. Jefferson with the touchdown grab, as the Aztecs will start to pull away here in the second quarter, make that 14-3. And this was just excellent coverage, to be honest with you. I mean, the coverage was really not terrible, but Jefferson just made a really great play on the football. And we're going to go into the halftime locker room. We're down 14-3. And we need a spark from our offense, man. We need something from Austin Douglas. Can we give him a little bit of time? As right away, pressured in the pocket, looking for a big play downfield. And it's going to find Cam Jones. Let's go, baby. Beautiful throw for Austin Douglas for a massive first down there, man. Let's go, man. So now we are threatening in San Diego State territory. And how about this? Jody Dentry finally gets himself loose a little bit. He breaks a 20-plus yard run, and it sets up a goal line situation. We're going to make this a one-score game. Douglas rolls right. He's going to try to run for the end zone. Breaks away from one tackle and finds the end zone. Touchdown, Penguins. And we are right back in the game against the former number 17 in all of America, at least at this FCS level. So we got it back to a one-possession game. The defense has been playing really well. We'll see if we can keep it going here, as Watkins, looking to respond, finds Rhodes. Usually not a good idea to throw across your body, but that being said, though, still a really good throw nonetheless, and ends up being a 4-point lead, as Rhodes will get it out on the perimeter once again. Almost breaks that one for a big play downfield. And now in the red zone again, as the Penguins look to keep this a one-score game. Jones gets loose, breaks one tackle. Almost, and I mean very close to getting that into the end zone. Brought down at the 1. And Jones will take care of the rest. Going to walk into the end zone. A touchdown for the Aztecs. And it will indeed be a 21-10 lead. Nobody out there on the perimeter to make that play. Going into the final quarter, we are down by multiple possessions. We need a spark from our offense if we want to win this game, but a lot of work to be done working inside the 5. Starting this drive out, getting it out to Cam Jones. A nice throw, but he appears to have injured his head on the play, so another injury for us, and that's a big loss too, as Cam Jones has 64 yards receiving so far. In an offense that really has struggled. But how about this, though? 2 completions in a row. Maybe that'll get us going. Except Cam Jones, we're going to have to figure out life without him, man. Broken jaw, out 10 weeks. So now we're trying to attack with John Langford and almost corralling that in there, but it's going to be incomplete. So a third down coming. We need to pick up a few yards, though, as Douglas gets under center. He's going to drop back to pass. Facing pressure, though, and just simply runs out of time. Nobody was open on that play. He wanted to stay in that pocket a little bit longer, but, ends up taking a big sack instead. 4th and 13. A desperate heave to pick up this first down as we try to throw over the middle. It's tipped, and it's going to be intercepted as San Diego State going down the sideline, and that man is going to be gone like a girl in a country song, and that is ending up being a pick 6, man. That is a tough one to pill to swallow. It's not like he was open, just couldn't get it past that defender, unfortunately. It gets tipped, and that's gonna wrap things up here, man. San Diego State ends up prevailing. They improved to 2-1 on the year, while we, on the other hand, are still looking for our very first win of the season. We're going to fall to 0-3, unfortunately, and Jim Fowson, he's going to have to find a way to figure things out, because this football season is slipping away from us extremely quickly. So we put up a fight, but we just had it pulled away from us in the second half. San Diego State will win this one 28-10. I mean, listen, we kept up with San Diego State as long as we could, right? But we just could not really get any offense going. We couldn't run the football, and passing wise, either what ended up happening was Austin Douglas didn't have time to throw the football, or a receiver couldn't make a catch for us, or we just didn't put the ball where it didn't need to be. So, I mean, Austin Douglas had an ugly stat line, but I mean, he's going to learn and grow from this experience. This is his first experience with college football. This was his first start, if I'm not mistaken, unless he, started in like the Toledo game or something. But, it was a tough game. I liked what the defense ended up doing. Defensively, I thought we played as tough as we could, considering they did have an impact wide receiver. But we took some injuries in the process. So we lost Cam Jones. You saw that he broke his jaw, and he is out for 10 weeks in this season, man. That's going to be a really big loss. We are already thin at wide receiver as is, and the fact that we lose somebody like him, that is going to be really tough for us to handle. And we also lost the leader of our defense, David Silva. He hurt himself as well, and he probably won't play in our conference opener as well. So, I mean, yeah, it's tough out here. I'm hoping that, we can move on and see better days ahead, but we'll have to wait and see how we end up doing against Murray State. We'll take a look at that preview real quick just to see how we stack up against that football team. So now here we are in an impasse as a program, right? Because we already lost 3 games in a row, and now we jump ourselves into conference play. We're going to be taking on Murray State here. Now, Murray State, they do have similar ratings that we do, right? They're a D+ overall squad, D's across the board. We're a D overall team, D offense, D- defense. It's closer than the San Diego State game, right? That San Diego State defense, I mean, that was just simply built different. But I thought defensively we played pretty well. I just felt like our offense kind of set our defense up for failure at times because we just had a really tough time moving the football, right? So that was why I was like a little bit more lopsided. But I feel Murray State is at least a little bit more of a close matchup for us. Now, we'll see what's going on with our players because we took a few injuries, man. I'm not going to lie to you. It has definitely been a little bit rough. Granted, we do have our middle linebacker back, David Silva. He is going to be able to go for this game, but Cam Jones is one of our best wide receivers. He was a starting wide receiver for us. He is out for 9 weeks with that broken jaw, right? So we are missing 3 of our offensive starters just from injury, and that doesn't even account for any suspensions, which, thank goodness, we do not have any suspensions, but that NCAA team interest, it's a little bit on the high side still. Hoping we can avoid some of that, because if we get sanctioned again, that might be like missing out on postseason play. That might be, show causes. Our program is already hurting as is. So, in general, we're definitely in a pretty sticky situation. Now, we'll go ahead and take a look at Murray State to see, who their stars are real quick before we jump right into it. They got a couple of very good players, right? They have Andrew Coley. He's a senior tight end, 6'5", 250 pounds. They have a lot more players on their team. They got 60 guys on the squad. And then he also had Blaine Coleman, who is a senior corner. He's an 87 overall as well. This is a senior group, 22 seniors on this roster, and just a very good group of players to work with, right? Their freshman class also looking pretty good. They got Carlos Strickland as their starting quarterback. He's a true freshman. This is a good team, man. This is going to be a good football team that we will have to deal with. Now, we'll see. They do have one player suspended, Curtis Daltrey. He's going to be suspended for the first half of this one due to academic reasons. But I don't know if they even have anyone on the injury report, so no. So they're at better strength than we are. But we got to find a way to win this game, straight up and down. So hopefully we can find a way to do that, because if we don't win this game, we're going to fall to 0-4 and that's just not going to be a good look for us as we get through this first month of the season. So that being said, I will definitely see you guys on the field. Hopefully we can get this done and finally get our first win in the season. Alright boys, so we are now down here in Murray, Kentucky as we go ahead and get this thing underway. Here is, I think, one thing that I need to do with Austin Douglas is use his mobility, because look at this man fly. 20+ yard run for Austin Douglas. And you know, that's something that I do really love about him. When no one can get open, he can use that arm. And speaking of that arm, Douglas definitely has a cannon. Looking for Cortland James, and he overthrows it. Throws it right to the safety. We had him open, but just threw it way too hard there. He definitely has a cannon of an arm. That is definitely something that he has working for him, but just using an arm a little bit too much that time. And so, great play by Austin Douglas earlier. It's going to get negated by that interception. And now Murray State's going to take over at about the 20-yard line, where we got to deal with Carlos Strickland, the true freshman quarterback that Murray State is starting outright. And going to pick up the first down on the ground. Gain of 11. We'll see if this defense can do its job. Strickland looking to the left. It's tipped, and wow. You cannot be serious right now. One of our guys ends up going down too on top of it. But we get the tip, and it's tipped right into the hands of a receiver. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than it is to be good. And I guess for us, better to be bad than it is to be extremely unlucky, as they try a halfback pass back to Strickland. Strickland's got some mobility now. And for the first time today, the Murray State Racers are in Youngstown State territory. As we check in on one of our corners, Adam Walters, he will be returning after this drive, thankfully. Or either that or at the end of the quarter, whichever ends up happening first. But we got to find a way to start Strickland. He has been really scrambling out of the pocket. Might need to get a couple of spies on that man right there and see if that helps or not. As Strickland drops back, he's going to look towards the right-hand side, and it's going to be tipped away. Nice play by the defender. And Murray State will have to go ahead and settle for a field goal. It's going to be a long field goal as well. 45-yarder. And is going to be able to sink it through none of the less. So a 12-play, 52-yard drive for the Racers following the interception will give Murray State a 3-0 lead. As we'll start our next drive going with Jody Gentry, who had a good play on the ball, but he fumbles it, and now it might be returned the other way. Touchdown, Murray State. Oh no, not what we needed right now. Seems like the odds have really been stacked up against us. I'm telling you guys, these PlayStation 2 games, these sports games, they are unforgiving, man. Even at a lower difficulty, we're not even playing on the Heisman. We're on All-American right now. We are down 10-0 because of it. So now we got to try to find a way to recover from the fumble that we just gave up that turned into a touchdown. And looks like we have another injured player on the field. Don Lynch hurts himself a little bit. One of their special teams guys. And now we're back on the field once again, taking over at the 21 as we look to go to work. Douglas looking over the middle of the field, finds his best receiver, John Langford, and picks up a first down. Gets to about the 37, so nice little 16-yard connection between Langford and Austin Douglas. We'll see if we can get ourselves 2 completions in a row, as we will end up passing here on 1st and 10. Selling the play action to Jody Gentry. He's got a little bit of time to work with. Looking to attack downfield and finds a receiver, Cortland James, for a huge play downfield. And what's been an absolute spark for this offense, as we are one of the bottom 10 offenses in America at the FCS level. That's a big reason why we haven't won a game, but we might have something going here, as Jody Gentry is going to get us into a goal line situation. Couple plays later, 3rd and goal from the 9-yard line. Douglas Looking for a space to work with. He's going to run towards the end zone and finds it. Touchdown, Penguins. As Austin Douglas saw all of that open grass on the right-hand side, and he ran for that end zone. And we draw back within 3 points of the Racers. And now Murray State takes over. Strickland looking over the middle, finds Anderson. This is trouble. Oh, we got so lucky that was not a touchdown. He had a ton of space to work with. And now 1st and 10 on Youngstown State territory. Strickland under center. He's going to fake the pitch. He's going to get it out to Anderson again. And this time, no one around to make the tackle. And Murray State will not waste any time. They put up an immediate response on the board. And the Racers are back up by multiple possessions. Now making it a 10-point game. As we are approaching the last couple of minutes here of this first half. 2:21 left to go. As Langford going to go ahead and run it upfield. But John Langford on the return, he ends up injuring his knee. And those knee injuries, you know, those could be not very good, to say the least. So hopefully John Langford's injury is not very serious, as he will get to work at the 21-yard line. Gentry looking for some space to work with, but somehow Austin Douglas comes down with the fumble. I don't know how we managed to recover that fumble. That was like pick 6, you know, written all over it. And now 3rd and 1, Austin Douglas in the open, finds some space to work with and gets himself out of bounds. Going to be really important that Austin Douglas carries this offense now that John Langford has the ACL sprain. He's going to be out for at least a couple of quarters. Is now another 3rd and short. Going to try another triple option. Going to try to get it with Isaac Jefferson. But Isaac Jefferson cannot pick up that first down, unfortunately. And that does mean we have to go ahead and punt this ball away. So Murray State with an opportunity to add some points on the board. As Strickland looking for somebody downfield. He's got a man, and it's what? We didn't get that. We had guys there. We just straight up got mossed there. I don't even know what to tell you, champ. Like, that was just... We had guys there, but that's just the realities of the situation for our defensive backfield. When you're starting walk-ons that aren't very talented... Oh, get that fumble. Oh, can't get the fumble. That's tough. And now a 3rd and 9 waiting for the Racers after that fumble. And they actually tried to run with it with Harden. They haven't ran it very much here in this game, but Harden cannot pick up the first down. And that does mean that Murray State's got to settle for another field goal. 45-yard field goal attempt here. This is not a give-me by any stretch of the imagination, but no problem with that guy, though. He ends up nailing it with relative ease, actually. I just burped. That's extremely sexy. But we go into this halftime, you know, definitely feeling some desperation. Down 20-7. So here's the hoping our offense can play better here in this second half, because I'm going to tell you right now, we definitely need it. As Austin Douglas will start things out, looking over the middle, finds Ty James. And Ty James gets brought down with the horse collar, but the refs will go ahead and keep that yellow flag in the pockets. They are letting them play in this one. As we're about midfield as we go ahead. Run the speed option, but Jody Gentry takes it down the sideline and brings it down at about the 30-yard line. Big run by the true freshman at running back. He's been pretty good so far in this game. We'll have to go to him again. Gentry with some space to work on the outside, getting away from a linebacker as he ends up getting ran into by a defensive back, but another big run for Jody. That takes us into the red zone. As a couple plays later, here's 2nd and 8. Going with the speed option again. This time, attacking with Austin Douglas directly. Found a crease and almost got it into the end zone there. But it's going to be 1st and goal at about the 2. And we'll see if we can go ahead and punch it in. Looking at Isaac's going to try to run it into the end zone, and he does! Touchdown, Penguins! And looking at the converted tight end playing fullback, that now gets it a 6-point game. And after a Murray State free and out, all of a sudden we got some life here. We got a chance to take the lead. And even with that, we are across midfield here as Austin Douglas, the true freshman, using that athleticism to his best abilities, able to pick up 80 yards on the day so far. Jefferson looking to attack. He's going to run it upfield for a little bit, picks up a few yards. But we do see Curtis Dougherty getting himself a little bit shaken up. So Murray State's depth getting tested here. As now, Douglas rolling to the right. He's going to try to throw it to John Langford, who had come back into the game. He had that ACL sprain earlier, but he's going to play through it, believing hard in his quarterback. As Douglas, speaking of which, fighting for the end zone. No! But it does put Austin Douglas at 100 yards on the day and 200 yards of total offense. 1 yard away from taking the lead. Play action. Douglas looking right, trying to scramble. He had a couple of guys, but just didn't have enough time to process anything. And that's a huge loss for us. Brings us all the way back to the 8-yard line. And we haven't been great on third down conversions either. Third and goal coming up. Douglas looking over the middle. He's got a man. Jody fights for the end zone. Touchdown, Youngstown State. And all we need to do is get the field goal. And we are going to take the lead here. How about that precision by Austin Gentry and Jody for fighting for that opportunity. So now 2:40 left to play here in this game. Can we hang on and win it? First play for Murray State. It's a run for Harden. He gets some blocks. We don't have the great pursuit angles, and now it's a foot race, which is going to be lost 9 times out of 10 with our secondary, unfortunately. And you cannot make this up. A 74-yard touchdown run off of the misdirection counter. And just did a fantastic job of bouncing it to the outside in order to retake the lead. But Murray State is going to opt to go for 2, so that even if we get a touchdown, we cannot take the lead. Got a fullback moving over to the left-hand side. We're going to send the house to them. Strickland tries to go for his star tight end, but batted away at the very last second. So it does remain a 5-point game, but because of a free and out for us, we're hoping our defense can come through and at least give us the ball one last time as we get them stuffed in the backfield. But there's a flag on the field, and it looks like it's going to be face mask. And it's going to be called on the true freshman linebacker, Brian Brooks. And that is a huge one for us, because now we got to use our timeouts here. If Murray State picks up this first down, it's barbecue chicken. We need to stop Strickland here, who looks towards the end zone and is mossed by Coley. A 34-yard touchdown pass as Murray State, they might have just put in the dagger as Strickland had the time in the pocket. He made the throw calmly. And this game just may be barbecue chicken for us. And to little fault of Austin Douglas as well. He had a solid game in this one. But unless there's an act by God right now, I don't think we're going to end up winning this game. Do get a nice completion out the hands, bro. One of the, I believe is either a fullback or for a tight end. I'm not too terribly sure. But, we got to push it downfield at this point, And we're just going to yeet it, Got to risk it for the biscuit. And, yeah, no surprises there. We end up getting interception. Third turnover of the day for us, by the way. We do not get a single turnover from our defense. And this is a painful one. This was a game that we desperately needed to win, and we just couldn't get it to happen for us. We were in position to win, and we just had it slip away with us in the last couple minutes of the game. It's a tough one to deal with, but the young guys on this roster, they're going to learn and grow from this experience. So you want to talk about a heartbreaking loss for us? Yeah, that loss was extremely heartbreaking today. We had the lead in the fourth quarter, and we just gave it up, man. It's a tough way to go down. I mean, look where we were. We had the lead with 2:40 left to go, and then, we gave up that huge touchdown run. In that drive after, we went 3 and out, had to punt the ball away, and Murray State put the dagger in us in that fourth quarter, and we lose another one. We fall to 0-4 on this year, man. A year after we went with a 7-6 season, we had a bowl game, and it's just a tough pill to swallow, man. But I'm gonna tell you something right now. I mean, Austin Douglas stats, not pretty, right? 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. But that being said, I think we got ourselves a really good quarterback in Austin Douglas, right? I love his dual threat ability. He contributed 12 carries for 93 yards on the ground. I mean, he's going to be a special dual threat quarterback. And the fact that he's going to learn behind Chris Ty once he comes back, I mean, he could be something special, man. Jody Dentry as well. He looked really good on the ground. 12 carries, 93 yards. Isaac Jefferson also scored in this one. 4 carries, 4 yards. Receivers, I mean, we got to get better at wide receiver, right? Besides John Langford, we don't really have very good receiving options in this game, right? Like, that's something that's really holding us back, I think, as an offense. We don't have the receivers. And then blocking, granted, the blocking today was actually good, but generally speaking, we do still need to improve that offensive line. We got some cornerstones in Sean Taylor as well as Nick Reed, but I mean, we still got to replace a few of these guys who had good days today. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, especially Sean Taylor. Oh my, 11 pancakes. But it also hurts that our corners, our corners are still not that good, and neither is necessarily our defensive line. Now, our linebackers, I feel fine about our linebackers as of right now. But yeah, this was a tough pill to swallow here. I thought we had a chance to win this game, and we did. We were right there, but it slips away, and we lose another one, man. So we'll go ahead. We'll simulate that Eastern Kentucky game as well, and hopefully we can finally get that first win of the season. But I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. So Eastern Kentucky actually goes ahead and gets themselves into the top 25 as we lose yet another game. We actually lost in the simulation 15-30, so we got doubled up. And I mean, we were leading that first quarter. We were off to a good start, but then after that, it was all EKU. They're riding that 4-game winning streak right now, and dating back to last season, we have lost our last 7 games, bro. Like, it has not been good by any stretch of the imagination, man. Like, it's been tough. It's been really tough out here. We are now 0-5, and I'm looking at the rest of our schedule, man. It's not getting that much easier. Like, we still got to take on Tennessee State in the next episode, and then we also got to take on West Kentucky. They're doing good. They're 3-1 right now. Southeastern Missouri State. Like, it's a rough schedule, man. But next episode, we are going to try to work our way out of this. We're going to go through the month of October, going with yet another doubleheader. Of course, got to play this ranked matchup at home against Tennessee State. They are 4-1 with the number 12 ranking in the FCS. Then we'll simulate the Eastern Illinois game. Hopefully we will be granted a victory there. And then we'll wrap things up with another game. We'll be taking on Western Kentucky, who, they're a solid team. They're 3-1, but I think, on paper, our roster is actually better than. So I'm hoping we can win that game, right? So we'll find that out in the next episode. But in the meantime, Bo, I hope you enjoyed today's content. And if you did, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button and hit the subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new. But with that being said, this is John J. Gaming on the mic signing off. I'm hoping you're all out there having a good one.